What's going on, YouTube? Coach Show here. Good morning. Happy Monday. Had some thoughts I want to share regarding overspeed. Make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe. I appreciate everyone that's been checking in. So I had a question, or got a question from a parent about their athlete who is in the 8th grade. And the young lady saw that I was administering overspeed with other members of the team. And she asked that her daughter do overspeed too. And I didn't think it was appropriate for her age. So I gently tell the mother, it's probably not the time yet, The question, though, about overspeed and when to administer it is an interesting one. We have, we have access to tools that make us better, make us faster, and relate to the principles of how we teach. But there has to be, ethos to how we use it and why we use it. So I want to explain why I use overspeed, who I use it with, and that kind of thing. So it's not gonna be a long video, but essentially overspeed to me is for anyone high school age that would not get to college without us putting every effort to improve their athleticism. Right? So if they need overspeed in high school, I really believe that there's something in their stride of frequency or their stimulus that needs it to improve their chances of getting to college or running in college or getting a scholarship, that kind of thing. I saw a video of the Foss University guys, I think, Tate Taylor and Jake Odie, and they were doing overspeed in the video. I don't know when it was from, but because you also got to be mindful, right? You're seeing the videos posted in, but you don't know when it's been recorded. But just assuming that it was during the fall, overspeed is great kind of year round. I think eventually we're going to start desensitizing ourselves to when it can be used and what it's for, that kind of thing. But so if I had kids of that caliber, which we do, we have some pretty high profile kids, and my thought process is kind of the same. Not the same, because I'm not doing overspeed with those kids actually. And my reasoning is, depending on the program that they go to, are they going to be exposed to this in college? I don't want to put them in a position, especially if it's a high D1 kid that I know I'm going to get to land there. I don't want to do things with them in high school that negatively affect how they transition to college. I don't want them to do overspeed in high school. For instance, we had a kid that goes to Ohio State, and I know they don't do overspeed during the fall, Ohio State. So why would I give this kid that is potentially going to go to Ohio State overspeed? Because then, okay, we've exposed him to this, and then we know that it works, or in his mind, he's like, whoa, I've been doing this before. And then he comes to college, and if things aren't clicking, I don't want him to look at, well, I'm not getting the best training I can get because I'm not doing overspeed, or I'm not doing these other things that's not part of the teaching progression. And the only justification for me is, I got a 52-second kid in the 4, or I got a 62-second girl in the 4, and they They struggle in the 200, right? We're not sub 23 for the male, or not sub 28 for the young lady. If we're doing our thing strength wise, and we're still doing our resisted runs and our squats and that kind of thing, awesome. But I think Overspeed gives them another thing that they can use to get over the hump. That 23-second kid could be a 22-second kid. And if it's Overspeed that's just trying to train his mind to move quickly, then great. But the young man or young woman that is already in position to naturally follow progression without the use of Overspeed, I just don't see the justification for it. Especially going to a program like IU, got a lot of love for IU. I know they don't do Overspeed. So if I have a kid that's going there, why would I, or potentially could go there, why would I put them on Overspeed? I want them to have the best transition to freshman year as possible, knowing how the college works and what their philosophies are, what the coaches' philosophies are, at least at that time. That is a big part of how I coach them, right? I don't care to be, I don't want to be the flagship program because we do all the things and we have, I expose all the kids because I want them to be the best that they could be in high school. That's not the point. The point is for them to be the best they can be in college and beyond. And I just don't want to be a greedy coach. There's a lot of great resources around Overspeed, and maybe I'll change my mind one day, but as it stands now, I'm thinking about their long-term progression. Now you might ask, or, what about the kid that you do expose to Overspeed? How do they get to kind of adjust when it gets to college? Well, my justification is without this, they don't get the college opportunity. I don't want a situation where they are on the brink of a college opportunity, even NAIA, division, whatever it is. If they could not get there without it, then that's when I administer it. If there's a chance they can be there without it, then I'm gonna leave it alone. Especially the high D1 kids. But I want to make sure I'm best serving every kid as best I can. And Overspeed is an interesting one. We're still in the infancy stages, I think, of not Overspeed itself. Has been around for decades, but its efficacy and people's trust in how to administer it, when to administer it, and then access, right? Because oftentimes it's a bungee system. If you don't have access to a 1080 or something electronic, you're kind of at the whim of the bungee, and then you have to have a system around that. And some people just let's leave it alone. Let's just focus on force production, which is fine. It's justifiable and understandable. I do have access to this equipment, so I'm going to use it. I just think it matters who I use it for and why, not just for the fact that I have it. I want to also be very clear. Everyone to each their own. I mentioned the Faust University guys. I saw the video and I thought it was interesting. They look great, right? They look great running fast. These are the fastest kids in the country using it, and it feels like if you're not at that level and then they have this other thing that they have access to, are you a step behind? And everyone's going to coach their own way. Everyone has their own philosophy. Everyone has access to different things, but it's just not something I'm willing to do yet. And the main reason is where they end up going. Where do they end up going? And what is the philosophy of that coach? I don't know any coaches that are doing Overspeed in the fall. Maybe how interact with them, or I'll discover that. But yeah, I'm not seeing many college coaches administering Overspeed in the fall. Some will do it in close to the spring or a late winter, but like the desire to impart that stimulus early is not common in the college ranks yet, for good reason, right? There's an adaptation element there. So anyway, hope that helps. Just a little bit of dialogue for you guys. Like, comment, and subscribe. Let me know your thoughts. If you had access to Overspeed, do you wish you had access to Overspeed? What are your questions around it? Again, I'm a huge proponent of it. I think for almost everyone, it makes sense. Force production is still king, though. Yeah, force production is still king. But yeah, so let me know your comments below. Have a great day. Until the next one. Peace.